Hello everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. I'm Sean's Mapping or the Sultanate Empire. And in today's video we are going to be continuing What If Civilization Started Over, episode 28, getting very close to episode 30. Now, so I forgot to go back to the regular political layer. You're probably looking at this and wondering what is going on. Okay, basically this is the slavery layer. That is basically what this layer is. It is the slavery layer. On this layer, you can see we got three different colors. We got dark gray, light gray, and bright gray. The white bright gray is basically countries that have outlawed slavery and have laws implemented to prevent slavery from ever happening. In the dark gray countries, we have countries that are basically have laws in place for slavery and make slavery like an official thing, a part of their government that is legally allowed to happen. And in the light gray countries, we have slavery not being a part or signed into law or even being outlawed. But so basically, in the light gray pieces of territory and land, it's practice. People do it and practice slavery, but it's not by law and it's not outlawed. Basically, there's nothing stopping slavery in these light gray countries, but there's nothing promoting slavery in these light gray countries. In the light gray countries, people do it and have slaves, but they don't but the governments don't outlaw it and the governments aren't like supporting it. Whereas in the dark gray colors, the countries are supporting it and all of that good shebang. And in the bright white gray, the countries are not supporting it. So yeah, we have that. Anyways, let's get into the today's video before I make this intro longer than it needs to be. Let me just go ahead and turn off this layer right over here. Now, we will simply be looking at a couple of things. First thing we are going to be looking at is a continuation of the Indonesian Civil War, which looks something like this. With the eldest brother leaving the war, we do have some interesting development happening. Like, for example, the primary government forces are able to continue and make land gains and territorial gains by completely taking over the Philippines' primary island. Well, the northern part of it. Their forces continue to push down after a long stalemate. The rest, they make naval landings onto the other islands, taking them over fairly quickly, but not too quickly. It's like a 2-month process it takes them to like officially get all of these areas under their control. So they even make landings up over here, and they eventually take this island, like so. Did I just... Okay, I thought I did give them the ocean. God dang it. We also see them pushed right about here before they are stopped. Now, due to this fact, the Philippines does redirect some of their forces, well, pretty much most of their forces, back from the front line down there, up here to deal with this threat. And they were able to quickly resecure a lot of the recently captured islands after redeploying and removing their forces around and about, eventually causing the front line to essentially go back to what it was originally, but with Silver's forces being pushed back very, very heavily. Being pushed back to pretty much the northern part of this country, and Silver's forces completely being essentially entirely cut off from escape since their navy is pretty much down over here fighting, and they can't really get past the Filipino navy that is over here pretty much blockading their position. But in these turns of events, the Filipinos are in fact pushed off of this country right here and pushed back into the waters, we will be seeing, in light of this, instead of doing the grueling island hopping campaign, the second or the third youngest brother looks to end this war fairly quickly. And they do a small miniature island hop campaign as they begin to invade Silver, right over here, the primary government, making a landing, taking those two islands, and taking this one major city. Now they're eventually able to push to like right about here within Silver's country before they do in fact get stopped. And the war once again comes to yet another stalemate, with Silver trying to redirect forces down here to stop this invasion and also trying to get ships up here to try and save their people. JK, did you really think I was just gonna leave this war to simmer for another episode? No, I won't. Silver's forces are eventually able to make it down here and they begin their little pushback. Just like so. And we will eventually be seeing them completely push back the rebel forces from their territory, just like this. And we will actually be seeing Silver commence his invasion of this country, and Silver's forces just entirely go in on this invasion. And the Filipinos, realizing there is a chance for. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what happened there. It blinked out for a little. Okay. Um, I just lost my train of thought because of that. Ah, yes. The Filipinos, seeing Silver's pushes and land gains, and eventually Silver's forces being halted right about here, they do in fact get involved in this war as well, and holding a defensive line up in the north and begin and re-begin their invasion of this country right down here, and eventually causing the mainland to fall over to the joint Indonesian Filipino forces, who again are not friends with each other in the slightest. They're not. They are not friends in the slightest. So, pretty much as soon as the island falls, these two start going at each other head to head. The Filipinos are able to gain an early foothold, and they're able to gain early land gains in the fighting over here, as the basically they're able to make an encirclement of some of Silver's troops, capturing most of them. The rest either run and flee into the countryside or they're able to escape. Why did it just blink out again? Why does Paint.net keep doing that? I swear Paint.net is rage baiting me. But after about some time of pushes, the only reason they were able to push so well is because Silver had in fact went on to conduct the island hopping campaign of cleaning up the other brothers' territories that were being held by him, like so. And now Silver's primary force had just arrived, and they are beginning their push, and they easily push back the Filipinos off of this island. The Filipinos, realizing what is about to happen, prepare their forces down here in the southern islands and even move even more forces off of the northern front up there to essentially help defend the southern area. So we will basically be seeing this stuff happen right over here, like so. And then we will also be seeing them make invasions right on down here, like so. And eventually they're able to secure the entirety of the southern island, just like that, just like so. And they even begin to encroach onto the capital, and eventually they threaten the capital. We see Silver's forces in the north commence their attacks once again with minimal equipment and forces, but eventually they connect up with friendlies and are able to gain the support they need. Now, Silver's forces continue to invade and invade and invade until eventually the Philippines falls. Now, this is not the once great Silver Empire that Silver had, because Silver did lose multiple chunks of land, like, for example, Sri Lanka down here, his Australian colony, and his Papua New Guinea colony. But however, he was able to keep most of his empire from completely abandoning him and gaining independence from him. So, ooh, excuse me. So we do have some good news in that area, as we do see the end of that war finally. Now let us move on to other matters, as we will be seeing a certain country have a civil war. And what country is that? Oh, well, that would be none other than our good old pal Enderem. Enderem and his Polish people are going through yet a second civil war for some unknown reasons. But hey, who knows? Maybe there is a reason. Maybe there is. Who knows? Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see what that reason is. All we know is that Ender is going to be going through yet another civil war. Let's look at that civil war right now. And alrighty, here we are with the rebels popping up. Now, it has become clear to Ender's government that the reason this civil war is even happening, or rebellions, is because all of these regions are in fact places that want slavery to become a part of their country. But a majority of the people that live in the mainland do not want slavery and do not want anything to do with slavery. But unfortunately, these areas do not care. They want their slavery either by force or not. And they have already even bought slaves secretly behind Ender's back from the Scots or the Welsh, with them being the primary points of access to slaves, that is. So we do see these areas make some minor gains over in the north and in the more outer regions away from the capital. But we do see Ender's forces make some gains as well, as they're able to crush crush several different pockets of resistance. However, unfortunately, the entirety of Scandinavia, of their Scandinavian holdings, unfortunately did fall over to the rebels. Well, they want slavery, so they actually willingly joined the rebels. So this is a problem for Ender, and this is something Ender needs to try and handle either diplomatically or just crush the rebels and get rid of slavery entirely from his country and ensure he just really cracks down on it in general. But we do see Ender's forces make gains right along here, like so, going like this and like this, pushing into here. We even see him begin to push back against rebel forces, just like this. But then it is at this time where Ender is presented with a peace deal per se. What is that peace deal, you may ask? Well, that peace deal is plain and simple. The peace deal goes like this. If you would like if you want slavery, you can have slavery as an autonomous region. You can be an autonomous region, and have slavery, but you'll still be a part of this country. Or you can be a part of this country and not have slavery, your choice. Every person that lived over in the mainland looked at this deal and went, "Yeah, okay, we can deal with that. We can handle that deal." So the war came to a quick end, as the war only lasted for about 3 to 4 months of fighting before this deal was eventually signed. So it wasn't a long war, but it, of course, was not a short one by any means necessary. Or by any means. Why did I say by any means necessary? That's just weird. Anyways, by any means, this war was not that short, but it was one of the more shorter wars that the world has had in recent years and decades. So we pretty much see all of the people that want slavery going over to Scandinavia as Scandinavia is turned into the autonomous region of slaves, and it is known as such throughout Europe. The autonomous region of Poland, or just the autonomous region of slaves, really, as a bunch of slave owners are there doing slavery stuff. What are they using their slaves for exactly in these Scandinavian areas? Nobody knows, because nobody knows what is even useful for slaves to do up there in the Scandinavian area. Also, about after 6 months, well, several years of working together, Germany officially unifies with Ender, creating and giving him all of this, basically making him one big superpower. This does cause shock and fear towards Europe, and this actually causes multiple countries to join the Cross Alliance. If you do not know what the Cross Alliance is, that is the alliance from the Great European War. And then, of course, you have Ender's Alliance, which are the trapezoids right over here that involve Italy, him, Moldova, and Turkey. The Cross Alliance involves the French, the Serbs, uh, the Aegean, and Finland. And now we actually have three more countries joining that alliance after the unification with Germany. Now, the Germans, who wanted that unification, are causing major problems for Ender due to the fact that, they wanted to unify because they were very close and they were very good friends. So we simply see this country right here off the border of Ender join, fearing um, Ender's expansion in case Ender might want to expand. We also see this new country that popped out of Moldova join the Cross Alliance looking for a chance to just fight for more land against Moldova. And well, we also see one other country joining this alliance, primarily due to the fact that two countries joined the trapezoids. Well, one country joined the trapezoids, and that is the Northern Caspian Empire, basically, which is in fact a slave state. Now, the trapezoids will be getting a couple new members. So they'll be getting three new members. Though one of their members are of course going to be a lot stronger than the other. But the first member they will be receiving is not the North Caspian Empire. They get an X, not trapezoid. Please, K, an X. Then remember to not have that thing selected anymore, and then you change the shape. I am sorry, guys. Hey, it is being dumb at its finest, okay? Being dumb at its finest. We have the Caspian Black Sea Union joining the Trapezoid Alliance, which, of course, as we know from the War of Asia, tensions began to rise between the Black Sea's Caspian Union and also the North Caspian Empire. Also, fearing the Cross Alliance, because at this point they're pretty much surrounded by the Cross Alliance, this country, this green one right over here, joins the trapezoids and joins up with Ender and his alliance. So we do see him joining in on this war, just like so. And then the last country that is going to be joining the Trapezoid Alliance is actually going to be right over here in the Caspian region. Once again, I went too far down because I was originally going to do it in Africa, but I just realized this brown country right here, who has been threatened in the past by the Caspian Empire, the North Caspian Empire, that is. They've been threatened multiple times by them, threatening invasion and a bunch of other stuff. So they joined the trapezoids for defense and safety. As we can see, both of these alliances are growing very, very fast, getting very, very big, and starting to spread out across the world. And who knows? Maybe this is a setup for something else. Maybe it's not. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that will be all for today's video. I'm Sean's Mapping, or the Sultanate Empire. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, go beneath the video, hit that like button. If you didn't, I don't mind if you hit that dislike button. If you want to be notified or updated of any time I upload, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and then hit that bell notification right next to that subscribe button. I'm Sean's Mapping, or the Sultanate Empire. I hope you beautiful ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be, wherever you may live, enjoy the rest of your day or night. And I wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I'll see all of you in the next video. See ya!